Hello, my lovely subscribers. Happy New Year 2024 again. You're welcome once more to Sustainary Energia channel. If you are with me today, is because you are interested in energy, natural resources, and sustainable development law, petroleum, mining, forestry. Natural resources is our business. Petroleum, oil, and gas, yeah, that's what it's all about. So, this is the mother of I'm into oil and gas. I'm into mining. Natural resources is the mother, is the umbrella. So get interested because natural resources is the wow. Every African nation gets its strength from its natural resources. If you know this, then you will know how valuable your natural resources in your precious African nation are concerned. What are they doing with your gold? Who is taking what? How does the government get to gain? That should be your business because I have made it my personal business, and that's why I'm with you today on Sustainary Energia channel. Once more, my lovely subscribers, you're welcome. Today we are going to talk about institutions. In our last episode, we started talking about the institutions which handle the energy resources within the African continent. We ended by talking about some other institutions. We just announced that there were other institutions within the sub-regional at the sub-regional level that were formed based on the insufficiencies found between country A and B. So what country A lacks and country B has. Why not start with country B so that I can get what I lack, which they have, while country B gets what I have, which they lack. And that's what brings us to the reason why they formed these different energy pools within the African continent. Now, the African continent has 54 countries. Of these 54 countries, we have 5 different power pools. These 5 different power pools are in the form of regrouping different nations, basically based on their closeness. But exceptionally, we have other countries which find themselves maybe in the very southern section, but also belonging to a power pool right up maybe in the eastern side of Africa. That's the case with a country like Tanzania and Democratic Republic of Congo. Tanzania finds itself in one of the power pools, which is the South African power pool, and also finds itself within the East African power pool, while we have countries like Democratic Republic of Congo finding itself in the South African power pool and also in the Central African energy pool. Okay, that's just to give you a very brief account of what this whole thing looks like. Now, what is the reason insufficiencies? How do countries or how did the countries choose to handle the insufficiencies? Rationing, using resources which are not so expensive or which do not consume so much as far as energy resources are concerned. So this brings you and I to the very 2 ways which African nations use in order to manage their energy issues. Let's get into the rationing. So some countries actually imposed the rationing method of their energy resources where they said, okay, we are going to do the voltage this way, get a lot of voltage here. That's why in some African nations we still suffer with low voltage in some side, high voltage in some side, no light here, light this way, no light this way, light here tomorrow. All this is basically from the policy of rationing of their light. That means that doing it in a way that if I don't have today, you have, tomorrow you have, I won't have, or something. Just some exchange to make sure that everybody gets the energy that is available. That brings us to that rationing. Now we also have a different one that talks about some countries which decided to use power stations that were powered by diesel. Diesel is cheap. Diesel is less expensive than fuel. So when you're using a diesel power plant, that means that you are using a cheaper power plant, a power plant that is based on some less expensive energy resource. That's how we're going to look at it for today. So I'll kindly delve into the different types of power pools and let you know the number of countries and the type of population, the size of the population, sorry, that it covers. Very first one we're going to talk about will be the West African power pool. The West African power pool covers Nigeria, of course, the giant of Africa, with a great population, the largest population, making this particular power pool the largest. The West African power pool, as at 2020, we got the statistic that it covered up to 380 million persons or population. This is the largest power pool. We actually have 14 good countries under it. We have Niger, we have Nigeria, we have Mali, we have Senegal, we have Gambia, we have Burkina Faso, we have a lot of countries. It's good that you get to know where your country falls. So you get to understand which country is doing some I love you too with their energy resources. So we get to the next power pool, which is the South African power pool. The South African power pool has South Africa, of course, Lesotho, Namibia, Swaziland, Democratic Republic of Congo, Zimbabwe, just to name a few. Now, this South African power pool has up to about 15 countries. The next one we have is the Central African Energy Pool. That's where my lovely country, Cameroon, falls. In the Central African Energy Pool, we have just 10 countries concerned, including Democratic Republic of Congo, which found itself up, as we former said, as we earlier said, sorry, it found itself in the South African power pool, and now it is finding itself also in the Central African Energy Pool, of course, based on their collaborative policy. We have Cameroon, we have Gabon, we have Equatorial Guinea, we have Sao Tome and Principe, we have Equatorial Guinea, Burundi, Chad, Central African Republic. All of those are within the Central African Energy Pool. The next pool we have is the Maghreb Electricity Committee. The Maghreb Electricity Committee actually concerns those countries that are found in the northern side of Africa, which I am freely taking the chance to call it the white African countries, because it concerns countries like Mauritania, Tunisia, Libya, Morocco, Algeria. It's all the white African countries. This makes us understand that when we talk about collaborative policy, it goes way beyond just resources. It has to do with convenience as well. We are going to be very honest to say that I am going to relate with you on a business level based on how good we understand ourselves. That's just it. If not, how do you explain that in the Maghreb Electricity Committee, just the white African nations are put together? How do you explain that? So that makes you to widen your mind as to the collaborative policies, what they actually concern themselves with. The next energy pool I want to talk about is the East African Power Pool. The East African Power Pool has to do with 10 countries, just like the Central African Energy Pool. The East African Power Pool has countries like Kenya, Rwanda, Tanzania, Eritrea, Djibouti, Ethiopia. Those East African countries form another power pool. So this brings us to the end of our very beautiful topic on institutions at the sub-regional level of the energy institutions in the African continent. See you in our next episode, where we'll be talking about something that has to do with exposition of what should be done if you are faced with a consultation that has to expose how to request something from the government, some power from the government, so that you can exploit the natural resource you so want to exploit. Next episode, you get the answer. Bye.